is the table. It looks an awful lot better from a Brazilian point of view than it did 10 minutes ago, or would have done 10 minutes ago. Brazil have got their first win of the competition. The late show against Costa Rica. Serbia, Switzerland is coming up later. That's going to be tasty as well. But, Michael, when you look at those shots, Neymar, well, look, the Neymar show, he was a different player when the first goal went in.
Yeah, he was better today all round. But, yeah, listen, I think it shows you the pressure these guys are under as well. I mean, I'm not sure about the reaction, to be honest. That would be expecting more to share with his teammates that they've won the game. They've scored two goals in the last 6 minutes. So, but obviously there's a huge sense of relief there. It was the right result, let's be honest. You know, Brazil were far better in the second half, forced the game a lot more, and you know, they had to be patient and eventually got what they deserved.
Liam, Neymar?
Oh, yeah, as Michael said, he was far better in the second half. He was much better because of the substitutions that were made. You know, the Chichi finally put the right team on. Douglas Costa, we talked about him before we saw the substitution at half-time. He made an immense impact when he came on. He got behind the Costa Rican defence. And Firmino, he came on after 70-odd minutes for Paulinho, for me. He does nothing for this Brazil team. And Firmino came on and he was excellent as well. Actually gave Jesus up front a bit of a hand. A pair of them were making runs. They created umpteen chances and you thought they weren't going to be able to do it. It just seemed to be, it wasn't going to be their day. Navas was tremendous in the Costa Rican goal. But finally, they got a little bit of a break for the first goal when Jesus he didn't mean to touch it into Coutinho's path, but Coutinho was there to put it in. Fully deserved, and they're up and running now. And it was Samba stuff towards the end, which we want to see. Costa Rican team, you got to give them credit for being game, but we really don't want to see teams like that anymore going forward in the competition. They're wasting time. They're just there to defend. We want to see teams like Brazil go forward in the competition, and they ought to now move forward out of this group.
I'll come back to that point, Liam, in a little while. But like Richie, the reaction of those Brazilian players, the tears from Neymar, you can read into it so many ways. But one way is just absolute relief, because until the 90th minute, if that had finished 0-0, they were facing an Argentina-like reaction back in Brazil.
Yeah, they've enough experience to know what kind of reaction they would have gotten if they dropped points again today. But they got what they deserved, and I'd have a huge amount of sympathy for Costa Rica. I mean, the mismatch in terms of their natural talent and individual skill and the resources and their history at this level, expectations, well, you know, they shouldn't really be at the same level at all, but they gave a really spirited display, particularly in defence. They didn't offer much going forward over the 90 minutes, but that wasn't their plan, and they left it very late. We had a superb use of VAR, in my opinion, as well. Wonderful bit of skill from Neymar at the end. Brazil came to life in the second half. We sat there at half-time wondering, would the coach make changes? We knew he had options on the bench. I think he did. He made very positive changes and the players responded. It was really good second half, but I'd have sympathy for Costa Rica, given all the effort they put in.
Yet no fairy tale repeat of what happened to them 4 years ago for Costa Rica. But Brazil, in a few weeks' time, they may well look back to those injury time minutes and look upon them as very significant for their World Cup future and what's going to happen in the weeks ahead in Russia. But let's look again and in more detail, Liam, at that Coutinho goal. You mentioned about the substitutions, that they made a big difference. Douglas Costa coming on, Firmino coming on.
Yeah, Firmino played a huge part in this. It's a cross from Marcelo. Look at the height he jumps here. Boom, knocks it down. Very intelligent header. He's an intelligent player, Firmino. Very intelligent header. Jesus gets lucky with his touch. It falls into the path of Coutinho. Coutinho dropped deep when Paulinho went off. And that's what I mean about arriving in the box late. They can't be marked. Whereas Paulinho, he's in the box already when those crosses are coming in, so he gets picked up. The Costa Ricans couldn't mark him because he arrived so late, and he deserved that goal. They deserved that goal, and look how happy they were. What a relief.
So, Michael, for you, like Liam, would the team that finished for Brazil, do you feel it was a much better team than the team that started with the changes that the coach made?
Yeah, they were better with Coutinho, deeper. Sometimes in a tournament you find your best team by accident, really, rather than design. And I think, like, in he went with basically the same starting 11 bar the change at fullback. So in attacking sense, it was the same. But they do look a better team with Firmino in the team. I think they were a better team because they had the ability just to cross the ball, which they didn't do in the first half. And Coutinho there, you know, he was their best player on the day. I felt it was fitting that he got the goal. You know, you look at it when the ball's in the box, he's running from so deep. He's actually outside the box when you see it from behind the goal, and it's a great little finish. But you know, he still has to solve. I think Jesus is a player that they should go to off the bench, and they have to find a solution in midfield for Paulinho.
Richie, Neymar opened his account at the World Cup finally.
He did, yeah. And Costa Rica, they'd conceded the first goal. They're a little bit open, and I think it was a really good break from Casemiro in the middle of the park. But it's no more than Brazil deserved. I spoke a moment ago. I have sympathy for Costa Rica because of the effort they put in and because the goals came so late. But you see the amount of space he has to run into here. They're just wide open, ball out wide, and we just thought at this first and we saw, was he onside or not? This angle clears it up. He's clearly onside. Really good ball across, but you can see why Neymar attracted so much attention. You can see why he's so important to Brazil. You can see why the cameras love him. You can see why opponents want to kick him as well. He gave so much in that second half, but it's what Brazil deserved.
All right, now the penalty incident, this historic in its own way. We're going to look at this where the referee, the Dutch referee, initially gave the penalty, then went and had a look at the replay on the side and overturned it. Richie?
Yeah, it was. Again, when we first saw it, you can see the position of the referee. He's right there, and you can see Neymar going down, and you can see the reaction of the Costa Rican players. I think this is perfect use of technology. The referee has made what he believes is the right call. He goes to the VAR officials for their view, and I think the outcome was absolutely correct. I don't think there was sufficient contact on Neymar to warrant the penalty kick. The replays do show, I think the left arm does seem to maybe touch his stomach, his chest. There's no obvious grab of a shirt, but for me, I don't think that's sufficient contact at all for the ref to give the penalty. Neymar goes down. I think it looks a bit of a theatrical dive, but I think he just lost balance and went back. Maybe he was looking to draw the foul, but the referee, for me, absolutely spot on to go to the VAR officials for backup, and they were absolutely right, or the referee was right to roll back on his decision, and I think Liam disagrees.
Yeah, Liam?
I thought he impeded him with his arm, with his hand. If you obstruct somebody with your body, it's an indirect free kick. If you just get in the way and stop him from reaching the ball. But I felt that his hand was, you know, almost grabbed the shirt for him momentarily. Neymar felt it, and he said, well, I can't get the ball anymore, so it's got to be a foul. And I think the referee agreed with it. Did the referee go to VAR, or did VAR go to the referee? This is what I don't understand.
Well, no, they would have. He gives the decision, and the officials, just as we.
Yeah, but Richie said the referee wanted VAR to.
Well, the officials would have said, look, we think you should have a look at that again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right use of VAR.
The VAR guys would have said you should look at it again.
Yeah,
and that's where he goes over. That's a look at the
second goal. There's no need for VAR on that.
Again,
He's clearly onside. They don't need to, you know, in that situation.
But what's your feel? Like, did you think it was a penalty, Michael, or what way?
I think Gonzalez actually does well, because I think Gonzalez goes to grab the shirt and he realises, and right at the last minute, he doesn't do it. You can clearly see there is a slightest bit of contact. There's not enough for me to give the penalty. I think Neymar has an opportunity possibly to hit it as well. It's a great piece of play by Firmino, but it is VAR as I would certainly like to see it used. Give the penalty, and then if it's the wrong decision, then you can look at it, as opposed to, you know, letting play go on and then bringing play back, as we have seen in some of the other games, to give penalties. So for me, it was the right call. It was one of those that I think, you know, technology has sort of worked in the way that we would like to see it used in the game.
What is apparent is that they're making the decision up there and they're telling the referee.
And the referee made that decision.
No, he didn't.
He wrote back in his original decision.
Well, the referee would have made that.
Well, put it this way, Richie. Every time the referee's been called over to that telecamera, right, he's agreed with why they've asked him to look at it again.
But is that
and
not,
he's changed
is
the
that
decision.
Good.
He's never confirmed his own decision at all. He's changed the decision in every instance.
Is that not the technology working?
That's it, that's it.
No, but is it the referee deciding?
It is,
Ultimately, he does decide.
No, I think he's been told, you've got to change your mind here.
Because it's wrong. It's a clear and obvious error.
I didn't think it was wrong.
Okay.
No, I didn't think it was wrong.
The ones we've seen earlier have been ones where it's been pulled back. and then he's made a decision to give a penalty. That's different from giving a penalty and then going to the on-field review, which he has done there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think he's made the decision, and they've maybe said to him, listen, I would review that. I think that's good use of it. He's gone and reviewed it and says, well, actually, I've made the wrong decision.
The referees are told from minute one, forget about VAR, just referee the game as you normally would. If the VAR official sees something that he may like to review, and that's what happened there, they'll come back and do it. So,
in simplest terms, it's brought in to support the referee to minimise the amount of game-changing errors that he would make. And in this case, in my view, he made what would have been a game-changing error. He looked at the technology, and that cleared up for him that he'd made a mistake, and he was big enough to acknowledge the mistake.
I don't know what you mean by saying it wasn't enough of a physical touch.
I'll say what I mean. I'll explain clearly what I mean by enough. This is contact there. Is that a penalty kick? Because at that level of the degrrie of contact has to be a feature.
It was a lot more than that, Richie. He grabbed hold of his shirt and then he let it go.
That's what I mean. It's the degree of contact.
It was a lot more than that.
OK, well, the referee, it was the first time we've seen a penalty awarded, and then the referee going and looking at the technology and looking at the replays and reversing his decision. So that's historic in its own right.
Every time he's gone to the camera, he's reversed the decision. He's reversed the decision. No, but all the others as well, Dara, he's reversed the decision.
But is that not the thing working properly, Liam? If the referee has another look, like, you know, and you get into the point where it's debatable.
Not in every instance, no.